So one of the biggest topics that I talk about a lot on this channel is the immersion of video games, and especially of open world video games. And in the past I talked a lot about the fact that the better the immersion of a video game, the better your whole experience will be. And there are different things that kind of determine whether you feel immersed in a game, you know, the obvious things, the open world, the atmosphere, the protagonist, the other characters of a game. But then there are other, smaller things that you wouldn't think about immediately, yet they have a huge impact on your experience. And one of those is the minimap, that while it still is so small, it has a tremendous effect on your gaming experience. So the first time that I talked about this thing, this minimap, was when I did the review of the Elder Scrolls 3 Morrowind, because prior to that I didn't really think about the minimap and how it might change the immersion that we feel while playing a video game. And after playing Morrowind, that while it has a minimap, it is so small that you don't even notice it in the bottom right corner. I told you guys how surprised I was after playing this game and how much it helped my immersion. And after that I started to think more about that fact, about the minimap. That is just a small thing that is supposed to help us navigate, but I found that it is way more than just this minimap. In some games it can literally completely destroy the immersion that we feel because you stare at this minimap the whole time. You know what I mean? Think about it. You have those huge, beautiful open worlds, yet this minimap just reduces those to waypoints and icons. Obviously, it will not be the same experience when you look at the minimap constantly rather than looking at the open world. And I made a little test. I wanted to test that out myself in the last couple of weeks more and more after I played the Elder Scrolls games, which kind of still do have a little navigational system at the top, Skyrim does, but still I found that I was not missing the minimap at all. And then I played my favorite game of all time, The Witcher 3, that I've played now 4 or 5 times over, and after turning off the minimap, I kid you not, I immediately saw a huge difference, because I found that maybe even subconsciously while playing those games we look at the minimap all the time. When we're riding on a horse, we look at the minimap all the time. We don't even notice all the environmental details in a specific video game. And I felt that while playing The Witcher without the minimap. It kind of felt really strange in the beginning, but after that I really saw the beauty of this open world, and it was so much easier to immerse myself in The Witcher 3. Obviously you can't play the whole game without a minimap because you just won't find the quests that you have to do, but still, just this 1 or 2 hours of playing without a minimap really felt kind of like a meditation, if you know what I mean. You know, you just ride through the world of this beautiful game and stop noticing and stop looking at the corner of the screen at your minimap all the time and where you have to go. You literally just focus on the open world of this game. And then after turning the minimap back on to see whether it was as big of a difference as I thought, I noticed it again immediately after a couple of minutes, that instead of focusing on the environment, I was literally glued to this tiny box in the corner of the screen. And that this minimap, that is supposed to be this small thing that you don't even notice and that you look at a couple of times in an hour, really pulled away my attention from the actual game world. And think about it, developers spent countless of hours designing beautiful, detailed environments, landmarks, signs and natural trails, but minimaps make us miss them all. Because instead of following clues in the world, we just follow a glowing dot on the map. And you know, it's kind of like playing with blinders on. You know where you're going, but you don't know what you're experiencing. That's the experience that I had. And after doing that little experiment, I thought to myself, every single game should have this Explorers mode. And that is one thing that in Assassin's Creed Odyssey, when I first played the game, you can decide whether you want to have the standard mode with a minimap with everything, or whether you want to have an Explorers mode. And back in 2018 I thought to myself, who would actually want to play in this Explorers mode? You don't know where you're going, it's way harder to find things. Yet now my opinion completely changed, and I think it is a completely different experience when you play a whole game without a minimap and just with, well, following clues in the open world rather than with a minimap. And the next time that I'll play Odyssey, for example, I will 100% play in this Explorers mode. There are other games that do this right as well. I mean, think about it. The Legend of Zelda, for example, Breath of the Wild, uses the landmarks and the horizon to encourage exploration, and you're not glued to a minimap 24/7. And Elden Ring removes traditional navigation entirely, forcing us to learn and remember the world naturally. And that's one great thing that really makes the world more realistic, in my opinion, because when you want to go somewhere in real life, that is the same thing. Try to notice it when I drive somewhere and when I have my navigation on. I don't notice as much as I would without the navigation. When I walk somewhere and have my Apple Maps on and keep looking at the screen all of the time, I don't notice anything that is around me. And it is the same aspect in video games. And guys, I've mentioned it a lot on this channel in videos. Immersion matters. It is one of the most overlooked aspects in video games, yet one of the most important ones, because the more we feel immersed into this open world, the more we will want to spend time in it. By looking at the world instead of the map, we just feel more connected to the game's story, to the game's characters and the whole atmosphere, and it really transforms exploration. While playing the Elder Scrolls games, I noticed that I felt way more immersed than in other games where I had the minimap, because as I said, Skyrim does have this little navigational system, but it's not as detailed as in other games where you have a minimap. Obviously we still keep looking at it, but it's, in my opinion, a way better experience than with the minimap on. And so what I learned from this is, for me, what I will do now is, for example, in The Witcher 3, when I have all the quests done in a specific region and I just want to explore, do all the question marks, I will turn the minimap off. When exploration is my main priority, I will turn this thing off, because it really changes the immersion of a video game. And I think that video games nowadays should really have the option to always pick and choose between this mode with the minimap and this Explorers mode, where the only thing that you can look at is the open world. And at the moment I'm playing Kingdom Come Deliverance, because obviously the next part will be released in the near future. This game, by the way, will also review on this channel, so feel free to subscribe if you don't want to miss those videos. But while playing this game, I really focused on not using this navigational system as much as I did before. Obviously you will still look at it and keep looking at it, but in Kingdom Come you don't have a minimap, you know, the traditional minimap. It's kind of like in Skyrim, where you have north, west, east and south. But what I found, it is a way better experience when you yourself start to look for signs in nature, for cities where you can ask people how to get to your destination. That is just a way better experience and a better way to explore an open world of a video game. And so in my opinion, while the minimap is obviously found in almost every single game, every single open world game that we play, guys, try it out. Just turn it off for 1 hour and you will see the difference immediately. You will keep looking at the open world instead of this little box in the corner, and the experience will feel so different compared to with the minimap on, even though it's supposed to be this little thing. And I'm really thankful to Morrowind, a game that is over 20 years old now, that was kind of the first game that showed me how much of a difference this little thing makes and how much of a better experience it is without it. In my review of Morrowind, I talked a lot about the immersion and how easier it was for me to immerse myself in this game, but even at that time I wasn't certain if it was completely the fault of this minimap. Obviously there are other factors that determine immersion in video games, but the minimap is one of the biggest ones, and playing without it will just be a completely different experience. So I hope that in the future, when new games are released, we'll be able to pick between certain modes. You know, the Explorer mode, where you can yourself explore this open world, where the horizon actually shows you where to go, or where you have signs in nature with the names of the cities, for example, because for me that would be a way better experience. And I think I'm gonna try to play The Witcher 3 without a minimap completely. Now obviously I do know a lot about the open world, I've played the game several times, but I think it will be a completely different experience from the rest. So guys, just test it out in your game you're playing. Turn the thing off and you'll see how much more you feel immersed into this open world, and tell me your experience when it comes to that topic down in the comments. I'll be very happy to read those. And as I said, we'll be reviewing more and more open world games in the near future. I'll still have a lot of videos regarding Skyrim, the last game that I played and started reviewing on this channel. But there are more to come. There's Kingdom Come, there's Resident Evil, there's GTA. We'll have a lot more open world games in the near future. So subscribe to the channel if you don't want to miss those. Alright guys, that was it from me in today's video. I wish you all an amazing day. I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.